What is up guys, my name is Grizzly. Today I'm gonna be making a Fizz top lane guide for patch 6.13. Fizz got nerfed in general about 2 patches ago, I think in patch 6.11, where they hit his cooldown on his E by 2 flat seconds, and they also reduced his percentile damage with 2%. So this nerf targeted both Fizz top and jungle, Fizz top mid and jungle, but it hit like the pure tank Fizz build the most because he was very reliant on that percentile damage. I do however believe that Fizz top is still a really strong pick in the right hands, especially in a solo queue environment. On this account, Fizz is my most played, and I'm currently Diamond 1 and I'm in promos for Master tier. I've got about 35k Master points. I also have another account in Diamond 1 where I have 100k Master points on Fizz, so I would say that I'm rather knowledgeable about the champion in general, and I've played him through lots of different metas, even when he's not like a meta pick top lane. I always go teleport Ignite on Fizz. I think that's very vital for the champion, because he loses a lot of all-ins without Ignite, and he doesn't really need Flash because his E serves that purpose, and if you're good with positioning in lane, you can also Q to get away from ganks. So in this guide I'm basically gonna go over my runes, my masteries, and also the different builds, because the builds right now are kinda wacky. There's no like cookie cutter build, because his pure tank build got nerfed, but it's still like rather strong if you know what you're doing. So I'm gonna start with, I think I'm gonna start with the items actually. So I got an item set here, where the starting items are always gonna be Corrupting Potion and the Warding Totem. You could go like Doran's Blade for like level 2 Shees, but even if you go all in with Doran's Blade and Ignite, you still like lose champions like Fiora top lane, so I wouldn't go for that. I would just like say farm through the first couple of levels, get pushed in, and when you have like level 6 you can pretty much all in most champions, especially with ganks. You have really good gank assistance. So the first route, and I think this is actually the best build right now, is the Trinity Force build, where you go Trinity into Nina Tabis or Mercs depending on what you're against. You then go for Sunfire Cape, so you have the wave clear, which you would have from the regular Fizz tank build. So Trinity Force Sunfire is like core on this. You go Frozen Art for the additional 20% CDR, because Fizz is really reliant on that 40% CDR now that his E cooldown is actually higher than it was before. For the Magic Resist item you could go Spirit Visage, but then you overcap some CDR and you don't really go any lifesteal in this build. So I would say Moldem or Morpheus is the better choice. I actually believe this item is still very good, even though it gives like 10 armor pen, which Fizz doesn't really benefit from that much. With this build you actually deal about 60% physical damage and 40% magical damage, so you still like get value from it. It's just not like optimal, but I still think this is the best item for the slot. And then Guardian Angel to round it off. Guardian Angel is super strong on Fizz, because you can go so ham in fights and still survive most of the time. And while you're in Guardian Angel, you more often than not get your E cooldown back, and then you can jump out of the fight. Makes him very slippery and hard to deal with. For the alternative items for this build, Bork is really good if you're snowballing, so Trinity Force into Bork, like an Irelia or Jax build, basically. You will basically serve the same purpose. You will just have a lot more mobility, but be a little bit weaker in duels. You could go Spirit Visage, and this complements Bork very well if you go that route as well. So if you go Bork, I would maybe not go Maw as well if you're not like really snowballing hard. So you would basically like replace Sunfire with Bork, and you would replace Maw of the Morpheus with Spirit Visage, and you would have about the same tankiness. Not like exactly, but it's still like rather tanky. Randy's Omen if you're against an oppressive AD carry, a fed AD carry, or even like a Yasuo top lane. I would go this like second item after Trinity Force if I'm against an Yasuo. If he goes the Phantom Dash build, of course. Some Yasuos nowadays don't even build crit, they go Trinity full tank. Titanic Hydra is an amazing item, but the only thing is that it's so expensive for what it gives. Bork is about the same price, but it gives you like utility and sustain. Meanwhile, Titanic Hydra only gives you, wave clear, yeah, but it only gives you like raw power, so it's not a well-rounded item per se. It's just so strong if you actually can get it. So if I'm like really ahead, but I want to build pretty tanky, I can go Trinity Force and Titanic Hydra and then the rest of this build, but skip the Sunfire, or skip the skip the Sunfire basically. Then it's really strong. Witsend is really good against magic damage dealers top lane. So for example against Maokai, if you go Trinity Force into Witsend, he can't do anything against you, and you will just kill him over and over again pretty much. It's rather stupid, you should try it out. It steals so much magic resist and it gives you a lot of damage. Your R actually amplifies withstands damage, so it's pretty sick. Deadman's Plate is really good if you roam around the map a lot. It kind of serves the purpose of Moby Boots. I think it's a rather good item. It got nerfed a lot, so it only deals, what is it, like, I think it's like 100 damage something, but yeah, they nerfed it quite a lot actually, so I don't know, I think Randuin's is overall better than Deadman's Plate, and if you check like builds online, most pros don't go Deadman's Plate anymore on tanks top, so I don't know, it's still solid in my opinion, but there are better armor items. The Iceborne route is the other route, where the first item you like mix it up, you go for Iceborne Gauntlet instead of Trinity Force. And then you go into CDR boots, because in this build, right, you can go Trinity Force, which gives 20% CDR, but you still need like mana, and you basically want a glacial item because they're so strong on Fizz, so you go for Frost North and you have 40% immediately. But with this build, you get 20% from this one and 10% from Spirit Visage, but you need extra 10, so you have to go CDR boots basically with this build if you don't go CDR on runes, but that's rather risky because most top laners have some sort of magic damage, or the jungler will have magic damage. Then you go into Sunfire Cape, like the classical Iceborne Sunfire, and then like Spirit Visage, Randuin's Omen, Guardian Angel. It's like just so tanky, you won't be able to die like at all in fights, but you don't deal that much damage late game, you fall off a lot. But the alternative items for the Iceborne route are actually quite interesting, because you can do this really nice thing if you want to like transition into a damage dealer instead of a tank. So basically, after you finish these 3 items here, right, you can go into these 3 of these 4 items, and then when you hit like full build, you can sell Iceborne Gauntlet for Lich Bane. So what that will do is you will be very tanky throughout the mid and early game. And like you can go face to face with any tank in the game, basically top lane, but then you will scale extremely well with like 3 AP items, and you can one-shot carries, and most people won't actually expect you transitioning into full AP. And then yeah, you just basically sell Iceborne Gauntlet for Lich Bane later on, and if you go for like Sonya's and Abyssal, you can theoretically overcap CDR, but then you can like adjust and switch the boots as well. This is of course ultra late game, but it's still like worth noting. Deadman's Plate is here for the same reason. There are better armor items, but it's still a rather solid choice. Okay, so that's basically the builds that I go. You can of course like pause the video, or yeah, just copy these sets. I think they are extremely well rounded and just in general very good for Fizz. Okay, so let's go to the runes. For the Trinity Force route, I go this standard page. I just go like everything flat and then attack speed and AD. It's pretty straightforward. And then for the AP route, I don't go any attack speed, because that's more about you max E with that build as well. I should note, you max W with the Trinity Force build. So you max E here, and then you go for just the flat standard AP page with a pen. And the playstyles vary quite a lot, because with this build you want to get many autos off, but with this build you want to like auto them once, have the dot on them and then walk off, or E them like and then auto them once, like very short trades. Okay, so the masteries, the first one, Fizz Trinity Force route, I will go this page. So it's pretty like straightforward. You want to auto attack a lot with this build, so the attack speed. Feast, because Fizz does not have the best early game laning phase, especially against top laners with sustain. Natural Talent after the rework gives flat AD and AP level 1, so this is like really strong and makes your early game a lot better. Oppressor is worth it because your E and your R slows, so if you have slows in your kit, always go Oppressor. Battering Blows, because you will deal more physical than magic damage with this build, but it's about 60-40 as I said before. It's still better than Piercing Thoughts though, because yeah, 60 greater than 40 confirmed. And then Fervor of Battle, because it's the best mastery on Fizz top lane. In the Resolve you go Recovery for early game, Tough Skin same early game, Veteran Scars early game, and Insight for more ignites and TPs. The Iceborne routes, or there are actually 2 Iceborne routes you can go with masteries, but this is the first one. So the only difference is basically we swap out this for sorcery, because we want to max E and do short trades, and we'll stick this one because with this build we're gonna deal about, I think it's 70-30, like 70% magic damage and 30% physical damage. I think that's about right. And then the Resolve talents are the same. And there's an alternative for the Iceborne route where you go Grasp the Undying. You can do this in very tough matchups, or if you like never have to kill like squishes at all. Maybe you have like a full damage jungler such as Kha'Zix or a full AP Lease, and you have like a Zed mid, then you like have to like just be a pure tank for your team. Then you can go this route, and it's the same here. The first 4 choices just for the early game. These are just superior for the early game. Swiftness is better than Legendary Guardian most of the time, and then Grosbeard Undying, and then here the 4 talents are the same as with this route. So yeah, those are basically like the standard things for Fizz. It's very important to like decide, I would say, pre-game whether or not you're gonna go Trinity Force or Iceborne Gauntlet. You just have to decide, like, do I want to have threat on to killing carries the entire game, or do I just want to build a tank? But the beautiful thing is that even if you go the Iceborne route and you see that your teams aren't capable of killing the carries, you can always do that thing that I mentioned before with transitioning into AP later after going Iceborne Gauntlet and Sunfire Cape. So yeah, that's basically my guide to Fizz. I hope you have success with him in your solo queue games, and I'll see you in the next video.